up, everybody? I'm Sal Kalani. This is Reggie Steele. And welcome to Spitballin. Spitballin.
What's up, everybody? I'm Sal Kalani. This is Reggie. I was still late today. Steele.
And welcome to Spitballin. We here. That's all that matters. We made it. They don't, for them, it ain't late. I ain't early or late for them. Okay, they turn it on. I'm right on time for them.
Hey man, your camera is a little crooked right now. Like the
It's
back.
still crooked.
Look at this. Look at that little. Look at that shelf. Looks like it's sliding off the hill.
I feel like it's on like a fish.
Yeah, you got a fish lens. Yeah, it looks like you have a fish lens. Or something,
I wonder if there's something. Hold on, let me see something. I don't know what's going on, man. Like
Reggie got a new camera, everybody, and instead of just use the one in his computer. Why do you do that?
Well, just because this is a high definition, I figured I could, although this one is so high definition, I'm like, I feel like you can see ingrown hairs on my face.
Yeah, they got all the shadows and all the crevice of your face.
Yeah, like you can see everything. When I go to the computer camera, it's a little fuzzier, but
I can see your nut butter.
Hey man, did I tell you that Jason came through?
Oh, is that it? That's the Artisana right behind you.
Yeah, that's Artisana. And then he sent.
Hey, grab it. What flavor is that? Is that cashew? That looks like cashew.
Yeah, I got raw cashew butter, and then he also sent me this one. This cashew cacao spread. Shit.
Man, I got a funny story. Did I already tell you the story about him and the cacao bottle of liquor in Venezuela?
No, you never mentioned that one. Let's.
Dude, I got.
Please share your story with us, Sal.
All right, one of the coolest trips, and it was just I went to South America one time because Jason worked with a guy from Venezuela.
Okay,
he was going back in December of 2001, so this is like 3 months after 9/11, right?
Okay,
and so we go, and we were gonna just meet him at the airport in Caracas. He was already there, so like when we're flying in, we're like, if he doesn't show up, like, we're fucked. what are we gonna do?
Right.
Like, we're in the middle of a whole other country. So we get there, and then he met us in the airport, thankfully. And so we met his family. We hung out in Caracas first night. I remember we stayed in this like hotel motel, but it was really just like a room with 2 different looking beds. A tiny, like as small as this room right here, like it was small, right? And that's what you stayed in. And then we went off to but then the point was, he had when he was younger, he made a film of this little village in the rainforest, and he wanted to go back there. So that was the plan. So like, all right, we're going to go to the rainforest. So it was cool. We took a whole trip there. I remember you had to take a cab, and then you take a school bus that goes over the mountain in the rainforest, right? But dude, there's no guardrails, bro. Like, you're going around the edge and you're seeing cliff. You're seeing rainforest cliff. And I'm in the back wanting to throw up.
Dude, can you tell me why in like second and third world countries, the school bus is like the go-to for any type of transportation?
It is. And that's not I've seen another one later on this trip. And another thing is, what people you don't realize about third world countries, like they don't care about smog tests. There's none of that. So like when we got picked up from his like family, we're in the backseat of the car, bro. There's exhaust like leaking into the car. Everyone has like old 70s cars. Nobody stops at traffic lights. Like they would blow right through them, bro. Like, and I was like, there's no car insurance. Like the guy, his brother said, no, you get out, you fight, and that's how you determine.
Yo, it's like all second and third world countries are like, live at your own risk.
It really is. When they stamped the passport back, I kind of felt like in Snatch at the end when he hits the thing. I'm like, yeah, let me get back. Get the hell out of here.
I feel like it's like if you make it through your trip, you survived, right? It's
it's more like the city. And even the guy we were with, he would tell us how like shady like the city and like the there's no like the projects or the tougher community would be like up in the hills. Okay. And that's where they are there. And he was saying there, they kill you first, then they rob you. He's
Damn.
like,
Wait,
it's hardcore.
hold up. Run it back again. Where was this again? Where'd you guys go?
Venezuela, Caracas. Now
Venezuela.
this is in
Caracas.
Caracas. Caracas is this main city. It's it
Well,
has a bit of a reputation of being rough. So then
yeah. I mean, if they kill you first and then rob you,
and
like,
you would see
damn.
though up on the mountains, you would see that like poor little shacks and stuff. And that's where a lot of the people lived. It was interesting. So then we get to, but then we go off into this little village, right?
Okay.
And this was awesome, man. We could only access it by boat because it was like a peninsula, and we go, and the guy was like our buddy, his name is Saul. And yeah,
Saul.
he worked at the nut butter place with Jason.
He's like the Venezuelan version of Sal. Sal and
Saul,
Saul.
yeah, yeah.
Saul.
He is funny. I still say it today. This day, he would say this in his English. He would say, if he like screwed up or something, like, I am suck. I loved it. And we still say it.
I am
But
suck.
but
That's
yeah,
funny.
he was on the board with Jason and he did really well with the nut butters. But so we meet him there. We go, it's all good. And then we go to this little village and he goes, yeah, it's only 5 minutes, from once we land in the on the boat. So we're on the little boat. There's like 5, 6 of us on a little boat. It's a little they got a little motor. Little dolphins are jumping alongside. Like it's pretty cool.
Yeah, like the spinner dolphins, the small ones.
You're in the middle
Yeah.
of nowhere. So we get up into the jungle and we land on this beach. It's all like rocky. It hurts. We got fresh water we have to carry because you can't drink their water, right?
Right.
And it's like friggin' heavy gallons we're carrying. And like after like 15 minutes, we're like, where the fuck is this village, bro? He said 5 minutes. He's like, yeah, 5 miles. 5 minutes, 5 miles. We're like, 5 miles.
Oh my God. You guys are carrying stuff?
Yeah, so
You
he
gotta carry stuff for 5.
misunderstood. And it was that was the
Dude,
whole thing. So then
the story is starting to sound like an like a Indiana Jones movie.
Oh
right?
yeah, I gotta see. I wonder if I have even pictures on here, but I should put up
You should write
oh
the story
dude,
out.
here's a
Sounds
picture
good.
of me on the boat, actually. Where did
Man,
it
you
go?
got access to that joint that quick?
Yeah, man. You know what it's called? It's called the iMac or the Mac, baby. This is so here's
Oh, I know a guy who's trying to sell an
my
iMac
white ass on the
computer
boat.
if somebody's interested out there. Oh, look at this.
Yeah,
Look at Sal.
yeah. So that's us on this boat. And not long before that, I saw the dolphins. See those pants I was wearing? We bought them for like $4, like right before we went. They were selling them at this little flea market out there. And then the waves are so big and powerful. I got hit and it ripped it off.
No way. It ripped off.
Yeah, dude, ripped it to shreds, bro. I was like fucking naked. I had to go get my underwear on and just wear that.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wait, those shorts got ripped to shreds by a wave?
By the waves, dude. The waves were so powerful.
Well, I mean, but let's be honest, Sal.
And it was cheap shit. It was cheap.
I was gonna say $4 shorts. I don't think you expected.
Oh, it was all like knockoff stuff and everything. So I didn't even get to. All right. So the whole point. So we go to this little village, right? So we're staying in this village. I wish I had more on here. But we go to the little village and we stay with this family, right? This guy and his kids, little kids, and they have cacao. Cacao is big there. So here's the family we stayed with.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah, so dude, it was like $8 a day or something, and they gave you like fresh fish and plantains mainly. That's all we really ate. But right there, you can see he's holding that bottle.
Right.
That's the cacao bottle. I remember we stayed in a place and there was a little hole up in the roof, a little mouse just crawling around. Like it's just normal because they're in the rainforest. Like you're in the jungle, bro.
Wow.
Like, and then Monad was all worried about like a mouse, and I was like, I'd be more worried about that giant spider next to your head. So anyway,
is this
that's
guy?
The bottle.
So that's the guy that he went to business with.
No. That's not Saul. Here, I'll show you Saul. That's the guy who made cacao liquor. And so we stayed with him up in this village, and that's where we ended up.
Cacao. Sound like
I'll show you.
Cacao.
Here's Jason and Saul in Venezuela.
Oh, okay. Well, he kind of
Yeah.
looks like the Venezuelan version of you too.
Yeah. He's tall, dude. He was cool. I remember we were like walking around, and he's like, there's like a stray dog walking up to us. He's like, Sal, that dog. You don't pet dogs here like you do in the US. He's like,
Yeah,
they carry all kinds of disease. He's like, it's
yeah,
not good.
exactly. I'm like, I feel like you should have known that, Sal.
So that, yeah, and there was also like uh this was sad. I remember seeing vultures picking at a dead dog, eating it and shit. That was pretty
Yeah,
foul. On my way to the
but
beach. I
it's
was
the
like, oh,
ecosystem,
that'll
right?
ruin your beach for a
Yeah,
moment.
everything is goes back into the system.
Right, right. So anyway, that bottle of cacao we got in the rainforest in the jungle, and then we coming back. We met these girls who were on the beach, and they were like, we're like, yeah, we took the school bus over the hill and stuff. They're like, you took the school bus? Like, no, you don't take the school bus. Like, one of those goes over every year.
Are you mean falls off the cliff?
Yeah, they're like, yeah, that's dangerous. We'll give you a ride back. So they gave us a ride back.
I'm thinking that sounds crazy as hell. Because every time I see a
Oh,
school bus on a cliff, I'm thinking, how is it that these joints don't fall off? I'm glad somebody
right.
confirmed that shit.
So then I remember we pulled into some like Taco Bell or something. We were just starving. We went through the jungle, and
Hold up. Just for the record, you're in a third world country where people don't stop at stop signs. School buses are the main source of transportation. There's stray dogs, vultures, people living with mice, and in all this chaos and all of this lack of first world options, there's a Taco Bell.
yeah, well, that's usually the first of the first world things that show up. And I'll tell you, as an American, you see that you're like, well, I know what I'm going to get. You know what I mean? I know what they serve. I know what I'm going to get because you have no idea. Yeah, I mean, you could you
You
could
don't
be
think they fixed the
Spanish,
menu?
maybe.
You
No,
don't think they
you could
changed
be.
it?
Well, no, you still get.
I know.
No,
You don't think they
not to
changed the
that.
menu for like the Venezuelan people? Like, that's some
Some
arrogant
stuff,
shit.
but not all.
Bro,
There's
that's
that
arrogant
happens,
though.
but there's not a ton of change.
Dude, that's
There's
arrogant. You go into another country, bring in your restaurant.
well, no, it's like, hey, this works here. This is what we use. You want to use it? Here you go. Hey, if you want to add something, they do that in some countries. There's a
Okay.
little, like in India, there's no burgers because they don't eat meat.
They
So
don't
they
eat
do
beef,
it
right?
out of like mutton, I think, or something.
Oh, okay. That's
Goat
next
or
level.
something.
Okay.
Or, yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
Okay.
we pull in this Taco Bell to pop the trunk to grab something. Jason's pulling shit out left and right. I don't know why. And the bottle goes flying out and shatters, dude. And it was like 2 weeks before Christmas, and we had this whole plan. Like, we got this bottle of liquor from the deep, dark rainforest. We're gonna bring it back on the plane, have shots for everybody. And this fool broke it in a Taco Bell parking lot.
What the hell? Who takes stuff out of their things like this?
Oh, I was so mad. And he wouldn't even like apologize. He was really, you don't understand why I was so mad. And finally on the right flight back, he was like, oh, I understand. I'm sorry. I was just so like,
He
oh,
didn't
bro. I was like,
look,
we'll
dude.
never be able to do that again. That was a
Dude.
one-time shot.
Yes, he was
And that's funny. I have that picture with the bottle.
dude, he sabotaged that. He was like, I ain't drinking this shit.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't want to drink this. So he threw that shit. Because who goes and takes things out of places like people in cartoons? That's what they do in cartoons, right? They go in, they're throwing everything looking for a thing. Who grabs a bottle and throws that shit?
Oh,
That's somebody who doesn't want to
it was
drink
like a jacket, and then it was on it, and it flew out. I just remember that, and I was like, "Oh, dude." But I'll say this: this is kind of funny. Talk about, I had like first world feet because first off, the sun there in December is hot as hell, dude. I had my top of my feet got burned, and they were out from the umbrella for like 10 minutes out on the
Good
sand.
Lord.
And that shit hurts. So it was definitely a learning experience.
All right. Well, and so Jason ended up getting the cacao, and then they ended up making the cacao butter, mixing it
Oh,
with.
yeah, I forgot we got a bunch of cacao bars from there, and we brought them, and it was right after 9/11. And whenever you go out of the country and people, especially third world, and they want to know why you're visiting, just say the main city. Because instead, we didn't say Caracas. We stayed in a little town called Puerto Colombia. And then when we said that, the guys at the airport were like, "Oh, Colombia?" And we're like, no, we weren't there. And then they went through everything. And we were at the airport and they found all the little cacao and they're opening it, thinking it was like fucking drugs. And it was just cacao. It was drama.
Dude, you mentioned Colombia. The first thing I thought of is cocaine. Cocaina. You gotta get the good stuff.
But it's Port of Colombia. Yeah.
This shit right here. Oh, this shit right here. Oh, and this shit. And then this shit. And then this shit right here.
But it's funny. You never done cocaine, huh, Reg?
Fuck no. I'm not doing no goddamn cocaine.
I've never done it. I've never done it either.
Yeah, I'm not doing that shit. I know people who've done it. And
I know people who've offered. I know, yeah, it's funny. But
let me tell you this.
People are totally into that.
Yo, I'm gonna tell you this story. I found a vial of cocaine at work one time. Somebody dropped it. And so I'm cleaning up after everyone leaves and straightening up. And I pick up this little bottle. And I was like, the hell is this? I'm like, this is crazy. I'm like, who has a little bottle, like a little cap on it? And it's a little white powder inside. And I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, yo, somebody dropped their cocaine, right? And I'm sitting up here like, yo, this is crazy. So I put it in my pocket on some like, wait, what do I do with this shit? Right? Like in my mind, I'm like, I can't just throw this away. I don't want some homeless person to dig through the garbage and find this cocaine, right? So I put it in my pocket. I go on with the day and I forget about it. I go to the grocery store. What are you doing? Dude, hold up.
Throw that shit in the garbage. Who gives a fuck?
No, this is what happened. So I go to the grocery store, and at the grocery store while I'm shopping for lunch, I remember I got the cocaine in my top pocket of my shirt. And I'm sitting up there, dude, I literally almost started sweating because I was thinking, oh my God, I got, like, for some reason, it felt like everyone who looked at me, like, knew I had cocaine in my pocket. so I was sitting there like, oh boy, I hope no one comes. I'm like, I hope that security guard doesn't come and frisk me. Like, something going on here. You got something going on. So I leave the store. I get back to work and I'm like, yo, I got to get rid of this shit. Like, it kind of made me feel paranoid, like crazy. So I go in and I kind of show it to some other guys. I go, yo, dude, look what I found. Like, this is crazy. I found this on the boat. Some guys were like, yo, that's crazy. And a couple other dudes were like, yo, that's crazy. Like, there's one guy was like, yo, he's like, what you gonna do with it? I go, I'm gonna get rid of it. He's like, no, man, give it to me. I'll give it. I know somebody. I'll give it. I'm like, nah, man, I'm not giving this shit to anybody because I don't know what it's laced with.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. I'm like, I don't know what it's laced with. I don't know if it's pure. I don't know how good it is, the grade of it. I don't even know if it's got other shit in it, whatever. So I go, nah, man. And then I finally go, oh, you know what? This is what people do in the movies. I go into the bathroom, pop the top. And I'm like,
snorted.
Yeah. I go in the bathroom, I pop the top, and I'm like, no, actually, before I do that, I go in the bathroom and I go, well, let's just see, what does cocaine smell like? Oh, that's crazy. I don't smell anything. Oh. And then this is what I've seen people do. They go, and then they go like this.
Yeah.
So now what I did was I went in there, I dumped it in the garbage. I mean, in the toilet, right? Dumped it all out in the toilet, and then I flushed it, and I walked out.
What'd you do with the vial?
I just threw it away. I ran it under water to rinse it out, right? And then I threw it away. And one of my coworkers, actually a guy I worked with yesterday, he's like, what'd you do with it? I said, I flushed it. And this is exactly his reaction. What? No. Oh, dude, why would you do that? He was upset.
Like Henry Hill and Goodfellas. What are you doing?
What are you doing? I was like, dude, first off, we get randomly drug tested. Second of all, you're way too upset about cocaine that I just found on a boat, right? Like, I think you need to take a moment to reflect on this moment. Like, take a moment to reflect on what just happened and your reaction to it, right? He was just like, dude, I'm just saying, you probably could have sold that. And I'm like, yo, so now that's what it is. That's my gateway to being a drug dealer is I find some drugs.
Too, like $50
if that, right? So yeah, man. So cocaine, you mentioned Colombia. Yeah, first thing I'm thinking of is cocaine, Pablo Escobar. But okay, all right. Well, that's cool, man. So let's move on real quick, because we've been here for a minute. So sports news: Chet Holmgren, the #2 pick out of Gonzaga, 7-footer with the agility and quickness and speed.
Them tall dudes always got feet problems.
They do. It's a lot of weight on the feet, but he's a lightweight dude.
That didn't even look like it was against LeBron. You try to cover LeBron, you go against the king, you get slayed. But it didn't even look that bad. It was so weird. And then you saw him limp right afterwards, and then he's done for the season. It's like,
He's
holy
done for
fuck.
the season. Yeah, no, it's a fracture. It's those little hairline fractures that if you don't take care of them, they turn into big fractures and they never heal. Big dudes like that, big heavy dudes that get those little fractures and cracks in their feet, dude, it literally has ended careers.
I mean, look at Yao. Yao was and Yao Ming is the one guy Shaq said is the only guy he said he couldn't push around.
Yeah. And yeah, have you seen Yao? Yao made Shaq look short. He did. Yo, real quick, I'm glad you mentioned LeBron because I was talking about this yesterday. I have a good friend of mine, this guy named O'Neal Kamaka. That's right, I said his whole name. O'Neal lives in Toronto, and O'Neal has turned into a LeBron hater.
Dude, it's weird that he turned into it more recently because a lot of it was right after he went to the Heat. That's where it began.
No, for this guy, for Kamaka, he's a big time. He's a Jordan guy, right? Which is fine. Yeah, we all saw. You and I both saw Mike play. Mike is sensational, right? He was amazing. I'm not taking anything away from Mike. Even when I watch old highlights, I go, "Oh yeah, this dude was the truth," right? My issue with the whole thing, and then we can move on from it, is I'm not saying this is the thing. It's almost like the two things can't exist, right? It's either got to be you're either team Jordan and you hate LeBron, or you're team LeBron and you hate Jordan. I'm like, how about you just like Jordan? How about you love Jordan and then you just give LeBron his like you gotta.
Well, then there's the team Kobe too.
Yeah, and the team Kobe he's a blip on the screen for me personally, but I hate to put it like that, but he's a blip on the screen, but it's fine. I know a lot of people grew up with him and he's their Michael Jordan or whatever, but having seen Mike and then seeing Kobe and then seeing LeBron, for me, it's like Mike and LeBron and then Kobe. But then even before Kobe, I got Magic and Kareem and you know what I mean? And like Kobe was legit. Don't get it twisted. I'm not taking anything away from him. The guy was a beast, but yeah, LeBron has
I always say too, when people argue about his 5 rings, I'm like, well, 3 of those were he wasn't the finals MVP.
Yes, those are Shaq's rings. He was just on the team, right? So but my whole point is that it's almost as like you have to be all of one thing or nothing, right?
Right.
So like you can't, like, if you like Biggie, then you gotta hate Tupac. And if you like Tupac, then you gotta hate Biggie. It's like, no, I love Big. Personally, I love Big. Big is my dude. I'm Big all day. But I like Tupac.
I like Pac.
I like Pac.
Pac over Big.
Well, see, okay, now I'm glad you said that, because for me, this is what it comes down to. Pac was all emotion, right?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, he was all emotion, he was all heart. And I'm cool with
Biggie
that.
Was a lyricist.
Biggie was he was a storyteller. I mean, the description, we've gone over this 100 times, but one of my favorite lines of all time in hip hop is, I can hear sweat trickling down your cheek, your heartbeat sound like Sasquatch feet, thundering, shaking the concrete. Come on, man. I can hear sweat trickling down your cheek. Come on, dude. That's a beautiful line, right? So, but yeah, so my man O'Neal turned into a hardcore LeBron hater, and I'm just like, bro, love Mike and just respect.
What's he hate
guy.
About him?
Exactly. What do you know what he hates? He hates that people try to compare him to Mike, which personally I don't think that anyone should, because they're 2 different positions. They're not even same position players, right? One's a 2 guard and one's a small forward.
They're both generational players. So
they are both.
Why can't you say that? And look, man, I love LeBron. Brought my city the first ever championship in my lifetime, but I mean, it's hard for me to even put LeBron ahead Jordan. I mean, because Jordan, that's 6-0. And I will argue all day. Jordan didn't have the same teams to play against in the finals that LeBron had to play against. It wasn't even close.
Yeah,
But,
well,
that's going to be tough because we all grew up, but Jordan was the man in the 80s and 90s, or the 90s,
okay.
really.
Let me just go ahead and put this out here too. Look, I love Mike. Don't get it twisted. I watched those 6 championships. I watched him deliver. I watched him deliver over and over again. Like I said, he was sensational. He was exciting. He was consistent. He was a hard worker. He was determined. Mike had all the, everything you need. But you also got to remember too that Mike was there at the beginning and at the preface. What is this? I can't even say the word.
The prefaces.
At the prefaces of whatever. He was at the beginning. He was at the beginning of highlights, ESPN, Gatorade, Nike, McDonald's. You know what I'm saying?
The shoes got to be the shoes.
Shoes. So it's the commercials in a certain way. So his mythology is huge.
Culture, it was the cultural, pop culture.
Yeah, pop culture. We had never seen anything like this ever in sports. Right? It was kind of transitioning from coming out of the 80s, late 70s and the 80s with Magic and Larry and the league being in a certain way. And then this young dude shows up who brings another flair to the game, but he's also at the beginning of Gatorade, right? And the commercials and advertising and marketing. Right. So we saw his star rise and he lived up to the hype. Right?
And see, well, that's the thing I feel with LeBron. He had more hype on him than anyone ever, and that could have gone really bad. And he handled it beautifully. Right. And it's amazing how it worked out.
And hold up, let's take it a step further. Mike also had, because before Phil Jackson showed up, if you remember, Mike had a couple coaches that they didn't have the offensive scheme to help maximize his talent. Right. You get Phil and you bring in Tex Winters. Tex Winters brings in the triangle. And now all of a sudden, now you got a guy in a position with an offense that no one's ever seen before. And you got a Hall of Fame coach, right? A phenomenal coach. And then you got, they drafted
Hall of Fame power forward,
forward, small forward. And then, you know what I mean? It's like Mike had a lot of good things that work in his favor. LeBron, honestly, let's be honest here. LeBron took David Blatt. David Blatt came into the league for a year and a half.
07 team he took to the finals.
Say what?
That 07 team that he took to the finals.
He took to the, come on, man. Booby Gibson, Mo Williams, Anderson Varejao, Ilgauskas.
And people forget Michael, 5-time player champion, and Michael Jordan teammate Steve Kerr during when LeBron in that run of 07 playing the Pistons, and he went off and scored the final 27 points. He said this is Jordan-esque. He's the one that compared it to him. And that's when the king was born, they said.
Right. Okay. Well, there you go. So what I'm saying, Mike had a lot of things that worked in his favor. LeBron has overcome a lot more. I think with the I mean, come on, when he came into the league, his coach was Paul Silas, right? He had Mike Brown for a while. He had David Blatt.
Mike Brown again.
Then he had Mike Brown again. Then he had Tyronn Lue, and then he had Eric Spoelstra. And then he had
it's to go there to win 2, then to come back, amazing, unbelievable, win there against a 73-9 team, 3-1. I mean, it's legendary.
Yeah. It's legendary.
And then to come back to the Lakers and win one. Oh, well, it's a bubble. Everyone was in the bubble. So whoever won it was an asterisk.
Exactly.
And if anything, the Lakers were screwed that year because they had home court advantage and they didn't get to take advantage of it because there was no home court.
Exactly. So now look, I think the two things can exist, right? It doesn't have to be the greatest of all time because honestly, everyone has a different opinion about anything. You can almost people what's the greatest song of all time? What's the greatest food?
It gets silly after a while.
Exactly. What's the greatest liquor of all time? You cannot name what's the best of the greatest of anything because everyone has a different opinion. And
is Westbrook gone?
If I was him, I wouldn't want to stay. Why? I mean, he suffered a torn ACL because of Patrick Beverley.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, remember, and when he was at OKC, it was after the play. It was a dead play, and Patrick Beverley comes running over trying to get the ball. Westbrook falls, tears his ACL out of the playoffs. That was Pat Beverly that did that. So I don't know how these two can play together, right? Now he didn't do it on intentionally, but it was just one of those things, like a late hit that kind of turned into a thing. So, but okay. So real quick, the number 2 pick, Chet Holmgren, is hurt, and now he's out for the whole season. So we won't be able to see this. The number 2 pick, this phenom, who was up for, who they kind of projected could be Rookie of the Year. So now he's
who's number 1? I forgot already.
Pablo Branchero from Duke.
Or who? The Magic? Who picked
Did he go
him?
to the Magic? I think he went to the Magic.
Oh,
the Magic? Yeah, I think he went to the Magic. So yeah. So that's a thing. Real quick, let's hit this one real quick. So there was the first episode of She-Hulk on Disney Plus. Hey, dude.
Yeah, I watched it, Reg. I did my homework and watched it. You didn't watch the show I suggested, Rehearsal.
Hold up. We're talking about She-Hulk first. Let's get to this one.
She-Hulk. I mean,
don't give anything away though for anybody who hasn't seen
it was fine.
It was good.
It was good.
It was funny. I know I watched it 3 times.
Jesus, Reg.
Made me laugh out loud.
Wasn't there something else you you know what else I watched? I did not like that you suggested? Lightyear.
Oh yeah. You didn't like it?
Man, that shit was dumb. And the whole thing to say Andy's watching that movie made no sense because no kid, that movie was way too serious.
Movie was way too serious.
And then the way they do Zurg, I just was all blah. Dude. I didn't like.
Okay, there you go.
Like.
I just had a huge argument with a guy yesterday about that movie. And my whole point with the movie was that I was like, yo, the movie was fine if you're an adult and you can follow that storyline, right? And understand what's going on. But I was like, for a kid, and to say that Andy watched this movie as a kid and this was his favorite movie and favorite character from that movie, there was nothing about Buzz in that movie that endeared you to him, right?
I think they should have just made it like a classic Zurg, like Darth Vader, light side, dark side. Just fight. It's a kid's movie. It's supposed to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're always trying to top themselves and go all these different routes, and I'm like, ugh.
So yeah, I'm with you on that one. I thought it was fine for an adult, but I would not have. There's no way that I thought that was a kid's movie, especially when I can't even get to that part. I won't even say anything.
Yeah, I know. I get shit. Yeah, She-Hulk, I don't know. It's fine. Whatever. There's gonna be less. There's gonna be less Hulk in it, so I'm gonna probably like that less.
Well, yeah, but she's got a.
It's weird how it's just so different than back in the day. Like the Hulk was so out of control if he changes, and now it's just kind of like turning on a light switch.
Well, he's got the smart Hulk now, right?
Yeah.
which was funny because when she changed, he was sitting there ready for her to be like out of control, right? He's like, okay, calm down, relax, easy, girl. She's like, why are you talking to me like I'm a horse? And he's like, wait. Is that still you? She's like, yeah. He's like, you're not rage and out of control. There's not another voice at the wheel. She's like, no, it's me. Right? Like, so I thought that was an interesting take, right? To be able to see a Hulk.
Yeah, it's fine, dude. It's fine.
Okay, so it was fun. I'm watching next episode tonight. I am.
Now that what I appreciate even more, I couldn't wait. That's going back to Westeros and the House of the Dragon. Now it's funny, they all got their white hair, obviously a bunch of incest there. It's more on just on
no, it's not there yet. No, it's not there yet. But
for years they've probably been doing that.
Well, no, I think this is like the beginning of it because you got to see
this is the height of their power. They got 10 dragons, they say now.
Okay.
I will say this too. Some of the dragons are pretty skinny. They didn't show many yet, but
yeah. Well, they still had some big ones too, though. But I thought it was interesting, man, to see some of the dynamic between like the niece and the uncle, right? Kind of laying down that groundwork, and then the dad, like the king.
Oh, yeah, there's some gnarly scenes already.
Dude, there's some gnarly scenes.
Some castration early.
Oh, dude, don't tell anybody anything.
Well,
don't give away anything for people who's watching. But I feel like it's graphic. It's very graphic. It's very Games of Thrones-y, right?
Oh yeah, that's what it's supposed to be. And
but it's intense images.
It's it'll be interesting because there's not as many. I mean, they show they show people from other families, but it's not going to be as focused on them, I feel, as the last one. So who cares? They got dragons, and dragons are dope.
They got dragons, but let's throw it out there, man. They threw out the Baratheons, they threw out the Starks, right? They threw out Dorne.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Right, they threw out Dorn. I thought it was good, man. I was excited about it. I was all in. I was in.
Yeah,
I was all in.
yeah,
I
it's
thought it was a
fun.
good first episode.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
I'm
All
gonna
right.
grab my cat so I could go on my little cat tirade.
Oh, and then I got my COVID exposure, but we don't need that.
Good.
Maybe we'll do the cat and.
All right, come here, buddy. Yes.
So Sal has his cat that he's gonna bring to the stage. And,
yeah. Hopefully this guy gets, helps you with more views when they see a cat. Okay,
dude, that's such a pretty cat, dude.
I did. Little Metro. Found him at the Metro substation. All right, so this is the story, dude. So there's a documentary on Netflix now called "In the Mind of a Cat." It's all right. I didn't learn a lot. Like I was like, why does my cat in the middle of the night howl for the half hour with a hair tie in its mouth? That question was not answered.
That's funny.
But so this guy, Little Tro, he's a good guy. But so then when I learned, and this is very interesting, like a lot of things in this world, religion really screwed up the cat.
Oh, really?
The cat in Egypt, ancient Egypt, was worshipped, was mummified. Over millions of them were mummified because they loved the cat, right? They would, I read if there was a fire, they would save the cats first, then put out the fire. All right.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Egypt, it was big, but then Christianity came along.
Okay.
And in the Middle Ages, they started saying witches had cats. The cat was like a symbol of Satan. So they would kill cats and torture them for the name of God, in the name of God.
Right.
And so what happened in the Middle Ages? No cats, less and less cats. And what happened? More and more rats. And the rats started carrying fleas, which carried the bubonic plague. And so a third of Europe was wiped out because all these Christians thought they were killing cats in the honor of God. And then they all ended up dying.
Good Lord.
Bubonic plague. Is that crazy?
That's crazy. How many things have to die in God's name?
Right.
Like, gee, the Crusades and then the bubonic plague.
Unbelievable.
It's cats and people, dude. It's but that's a beautiful cat. I'm glad that you kept that cat alive.
Oh, this guy's the best. All right, but yeah, that was my little cat tirade.
Okay, all right. So last thing,
my man you got exposed again, huh, bro? So I want to say this before you even say it. Like, I've been invited to a couple things the Labor Day weekend, and I have shows coming up in Oregon in 2 weeks. Southern Oregon, Grants Pass. What's up? Wild River Brewing .com. But I'm not doing anything that weekend because I don't want to be exposed to anything. Because that's like 10 days you could be out, and then you're gonna be fucking with my money. I gotta go on the road.
Well, I will say this. I read a thing yesterday on the CDC. They're saying that you no longer have to quarantine for 10 days now. You can only quarantine. You can quarantine for 6, 5, 6. But if you, what they say, they're like, if you have it, this was crazy. If you have it and you're asymptomatic, you can still go out. You just got to wear a mask.
Fuck that.
Right.
No
That's one.
Way.
That's one. 2.
The most contagious thing out there.
I get it. But I think there's a time period where you're the most contagious, right? The first couple of days.
But nobody knows when that is, which is what's crazy.
When that is.
And when I caught it, dude had no symptoms. So nobody knows. And then, you know what I mean?
Hey man, look, I agree with you 100%. The other one is you can quarantine for 6 days, but you can actually go out after day 5 or something if you still have symptoms, but they're getting better. They're not resolved. They're just getting better. Then you can go back out after 6 days if you still have a mask on. Basically, what's happening is they're figuring some shit out, and now they're kind of like, maybe you can still kind of live a little bit if you still kind of got a thing. I'm like, I'm good. So what happened with me
what happened with you? Yeah.
Long story short, man, Tuesday morning, I get a text from a coworker. Hey guys, just want to let you know, tested positive for COVID. Fuck. I've been hanging out with this dude.
Not Tuesday. Guy.
No, Wednesday morning.
I just heard a comic who went to the Punchline on Sunday night had to message everybody that.
Oh, dude, that's so whack, yo. So this dude, I'm sorry, it wasn't Tuesday, it was Wednesday morning. This guy's like, hey guys, tested positive for COVID this morning, so just want to let you guys know, sorry. Like, fuck. So now I've been hanging out with this dude for the last 2 days at work, right? Close proximity.
You guys have masks at work?
I wear a mask all the time, but this dude,
They don't have to now, do
he
they?
doesn't have to, or you don't have to. Like we always say, it's recommended but not required, right? But because I know him and when we hanging out, we just hang out like, okay, there's no other people here. We're not
Right.
thinking about each other being, like an issue. So around this dude, I wasn't wearing my mask all the time. So now I'm like, fuck. So I get a call from HR and they're like, you're exposed. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I took a test this morning and I feel fine. My test was negative. But now I'm like, okay, well, if I was exposed, it takes like 4 to 5 days to show up. So
Right.
she's like, well, you can still come to work. You just got to make sure you're masked. I'm like, all right. So I'm at work, but I'm telling people that, look, I was exposed, so just keep the distance, just to be on the safe side. This was Wednesday that this dude is like, yo, I tested positive. Yesterday, he sends me a message saying, I tested again and it's negative. And I go, wait, positive on
Is he doing
Wednesday?
home or what? What kind? PCR? What is it?
Man,
Because I'll tell you, them home ones, I took one that was negative, then I took a PCR, I was positive.
All right. So he's doing it at home. And
yeah,
he's positive one day and legitimate and literally negative the next day. I don't know what's what and who's who, but he's gonna stay out and do whatever. But so
he's
yeah,
not coming into work.
No, he's not coming.
And then you feel fine right now.
I feel fine right now, but I'm gonna tell you right now, the first time I got it, I think I got it from this dude because he was the one talking about like I was exposed, I'm asymptomatic, and I had to explain to him what asymptomatic was.
That.
Same dude. He's also the same guy that comes in like every 2 weeks because he goes to concerts all the fucking time.
Oh, that's dude. I know a concert guy. He said he's got it 4 times.
Dude. Okay, just for the record, that's ridiculous. But just for the record, they're now talking about long-term effects from multiple COVID exposures. Like there's supposed to be like some mental degradation. Like it can have effects on your brain and your brain fog and all these other long-term COVID effects. So the more often you get it, the more likely you're gonna have like some other serious side effects down the line. So the guy who's had this shit, would you say 8 times? 4 times?
4, maybe even 5. I don't know. It's crazy. Like,
dude,
I'm thinking like he can't be vaccinated or he must not fucking care at all. But and I do know he goes a lot of large gatherings. And bro, that's where you're exposed.
I'm telling you right now, this guy goes to a concert like every 2 weeks. And then after the concert, he comes into work. Hey guys, might want to just keep a wide berth. Like everyone just stay clear because I was exposed this weekend. So I feel fine, but we'll see. And it's like,
man, wear a mask, motherfuckers.
Yeah, exactly. And then I have another friend who hit me up and told me that his wife has it again, right? And this would be her 3rd time. And I'm telling you right now, I look at her IG and I'm like, yo, she out there living her best life, son. She doing the most.
Acting like it doesn't exist.
Yeah,
man. Forget that. That does not feel good. When did you have it? How long ago last time?
I had it in May.
So June, July. I mean, usually say antibodies last at least 3 months.
Exactly. I'm right at the 3-month period.
Yeah, you're right at the mark. I mean, who knows, dude?
Hey, dude. All I know is
feel good this weekend.
I'm looking for. I'm trying to see what's going to happen. I figure if anything is going to happen, it's going to happen this Friday or this Saturday. So or today or tomorrow, right? So yeah. So that's it. That's some bullshit.
All right, well, wrap us up. You got a guest for us next week, Reg, or what?
You know what? We'll talk about that off air.
All right. All right. Kicking us out of here.
Yes, sir. Oh, last thing. Thank you guys for listening, and don't listen to Herschel Walker down in Atlanta or down in Georgia.
All right.
He's throwing out some conspiratorial ideas. And
the latest quote I got from him was kind of funny. That's what I want. Like, it's funny because if they push him on anything, he'll have you asked my opponent? Don't play games. You're playing games.
Right. It made me think about his this COVID made me think about
this is what he said. He said this about COVID. He said, I have something that could bring you into a building that will clean you from COVID as you walk through this dry mist. This here product, they don't want to talk about that.
Ooh. It's always so conspiratorial. Like, they don't want you to know this. This can save the world, but they don't want you to know because they want you to be scared. Yeah, it's like, morons. Yo, get the hell out of here, Herschel Walker. Go back and do go back to do push-ups. Go play football and do push-ups. So, all right, man. Hey, folks, thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed it. We we love doing it. We're gonna keep doing it. So please like, share, and comment. We're here for it. That's Sal Kalani. I'm Reggie Steele, and this is Spitballin'. Peace.